Just wanted to give you audio listeners a heads up. We had some microphone issues in the first segment, so we apologize. The audio is a little reverby. It sounds like we're robots, so perhaps that's fun and funny for you. But the mic issues do get fixed in the Flick Chart segment and the Looking Ahead. Welcome back to Buried Cinema. This week we're talking about rubber and bizarre and absurdist moments in film. And we're drinking scotch. Because naturally you should when you're talking about rubber.
You're drinking bourbon.
Yeah. It's scotch nonsense.
Wow.
Buried Cinema is a weekly unscripted podcast that discusses new and buried films. We dig past the surface of a film to talk about its theme and story and its place in popular culture. I'm Nate Griffiths.
I'm Steve Moore.
And I'm Brian Slattery.
Awesome. Rubber, the movie that we're talking about, is a movie about a tire named Robert who comes to life and gains psychokinetic powers, telekinetic powers, and after
Gains them or just
has them, he has these powers and turns his attention turns his attentions upon a town, a small town somewhere in Southern California, we're assuming by the landscape.
And falls in love.
It's a bizarre film. One of the strangest films you will ever watch if you decide to watch it. For opening review, we're going to turn to Steven.
Well, I was expecting something a little more straightforward coming into this. I was expecting a film about a murderous tire. And that's pretty much what you get. But there's a lot, it's wrapped in this sort of meta film casing.
Yeah.
That's even more bizarre than the concept of a tire killing people with its psychokinetic
Tell
powers.
them about the meta film stuff. Because the meta film stuff I was not expecting.
No.
I don't think anyone who saw the trailer for this movie was expecting that when they watched it.
Yeah, no.
So the film opens with a street and a bunch of chairs, and a car comes and starts running down all the chairs.
But the chairs are like spaced out. It's like slowly hitting
It's
them.
so much fun watching that shit.
And then at the
And you're
end,
like, is it going to hit every single one? And there's a random guy standing there holding binoculars.
just like looking at it. And then it stops, and a man gets out of the trunk and goes into one of the best opening monologues of a film I've ever heard in my life. It is so funny in a bizarre way.
I was laughing really
hilarious.
hard. It's rare that something honestly like pushes me to like gut wrenching laughter, like especially from the beginning. And that monologue was amazing.
It was amazing. Although you have to have a certain kind of sensibility to enjoy it. I imagine a lot of people seeing that opening sequence and
Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. But
we were still laughing about the line because he's talking about how things like stuff in movies just happens for no reason. He makes a couple good examples, and then he goes, and in Oliver Stone's JFK, midway through, the president gets shot by a madman for no reason. We don't know why. It's just like
his reasoning after that, I can't remember the examples, but I remember they get more
and more absurd. Yeah.
Why can't we see the air?
No reason.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
It sets what that monologue does is it sets up the rest of the film so that you can't question anything. Like there were times where I was like, why did that? Oh yeah,
No reason. Yeah.
like I catch myself lapsing into what's going. Oh, never mind, no reason.
Yeah.
And it sort of the film ends up insulating itself from criticism in a way, and comments on films that insulate themselves from criticism.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about Michael Bay in this, and how he set himself up as a director that doesn't have to be good, that just has to provide spectacle. So there's no way to criticize that. As long as he has explosions, you can't criticize him. There's no critical way to approach his films.
I was when I watched this film, I was expecting like you were, just a movie, a crazy, bizarre movie.
Yeah.
Where basically they replaced the main psycho killer with a tire, but then tire's like a serial killer.
Yeah.
the meta stuff made it, in my mind, so much more. Because like what you were saying, the idea of they have these spectators, which is supposed to who are like watching the film with binoculars, and at times they fall asleep, at times they get up, and they also like complain about the film. Like they complain like, this is boring, like nothing's happening.
But that one sequence where he's like, whoa, this is exciting. This is probably the best scene in the film.
Yeah.
You're sitting there watching them watch it.
Watching them watch the scene. We don't see the sequence that's supposed to be like so exciting. But at the same time, like I thought it was really cool because he shows you there's this cool moment where they bring food to the spectators who've been starving, and it's poison. And naturally, they just eat it. And I thought that was a wonderful...
That was grotesque.
It was really grotesque. But it's a wonderful analogy for what audiences do with, like, crappy Hollywood movies. That, you know, the Hollywood movie isn't going anywhere, so they just give you something that kills you, you know, and that if you're not actually looking at the movie or looking for something, like, it will just leave you empty, and you'll just get a crappy block. Like, I thought about a lot of Michael Bay's films. I thought about Transformers in the sense that he just gives you explosions. He just gives you action instead of substance. And we eat it, and then at the end, you remember we were talking about how we get out of the theater?
Yeah.
And we're like,
ashamed.
I feel ashamed for watching this film. And so I thought it was amazing him to do that and to show the one critical guy who's willing to fight through it. You know? So I thought, to me, this movie was more than I was expecting. It's bizarre as heck. I wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people because of how strange it is. But, and mind you, I love absurdism and I love meta film. That's just me. So this movie's like completely up my alley. That's also the way that I write and the way that I do everything as far as artistic stuff goes. So I was like, this movie was just awesome for me. But
I remember your tweet. You watched this, and I remember afterward you tweeted, I just watched, I have no idea what I just watched.
I have no idea what I just watched, exactly. Because I didn't get what I was expecting.
yeah.
And with all the meta film and everything else with it,
And reading the lines up. Like, there's a moment when he reads a line off and he like pulls the script out.
Oh boy, the kid was right.
Yeah.
The kid was right. The tire is killing me.
Yeah. It's
really,
like the actors are pretending to be in a movie that you would watch, but they don't want to be in this movie. Yeah.
And it's just a job to them.
Yeah.
Like when they
one of them, the rest of them think that they're real people. It's amazing.
And the one guy who knows that he's in the movie is like the master of the other guy. It was just like, why?
Yeah.
I just remember the one scene that kind of struck me the oddest was when the chief of police shot his deputy or whoever it was, and they didn't die. And he's like, "No, you're fine." Or no, they shot him.
Yeah, they shot him. They shot him.
He's like, "Oh no!" And then he goes
squibs.
And then he goes and talks to somebody. He's like, "Are you hurt?" He's like, "No."
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right that opening monologue that things happen for no reason.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing because it's like I can't criticize this movie now. It can do whatever it wants. But this movie to me does what absurdism should. It has absurd moments, but it doesn't lose structure. You know what I mean? Like it creates somewhat of an internal logic in the sense of there are spectators. You know, there's people outside the film who are actually inside it with the accountant character. Who's bringing them all the binoculars and the food.
There's a plot. It's
yeah.
not just completely random.
Right. Random. When a random thing happens, it affects the plot. And it changes it in a way that the plot doesn't stop, it progresses. But now, like, a man in a wheelchair has knocked on the back of a van and asked the movie, "Okay, can you wrap this up?"
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting here, and he says stuff that watches like, "Why don't you just blow him up? Why don't you get a bazooka?
Yeah.
Why don't you just shoot this stupid tire?" You know?
And that actually changes the course of the film.
Right. It changes.
Yeah.
It actually affects it. So it's not without structure, but it's doing something new with structure.
And one of the things that struck me about this, I've never seen a tire or an inanimate object. Maybe the volleyball from
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson.
The other thing I was thinking of, Tom wrote an article on like
The Red Balloon, which is another French film.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't a French film, but Quentin Dupieux, who's the director, is a French filmmaker, and his first two films, I believe, were French. So, Frenchy.
But I've never seen an inanimate object emote so much. I mean, that's that very first scene where he like finds the plastic bottle.
Oh yeah.
And he's looking at it, and he's like, "Well, I'm looking at it," and he slowly like crushes it and realizes he has the power to kill. Like you actually somehow see that realization on screen in a tire. It's very, very strange.
You can tell when it's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's a tire. Sorry.
The man hits the tire with his truck, and you can tell that the tire is now pissed off.
Yeah. What for you guys? Let's talk about bizarre and absurdist films. We've talked about this before. I can't remember what film. We talked about absurdism. It was Scott Pilgrim. I can't remember. But what for you guys has been like a really bizarre moment in film that kind of sticks with you? What's the bizarrest, strangest thing you've ever seen?
Well, the sort of quintessential bizarre absurdist film that comes to mind is Monty Python.
Monty Python.
That's a movie that kind of set the bar, and really almost any Terry Gilliam film.
No, you're right.
It kind of set the bar for absurdist film.
It's the absurdist filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's a absurdist film that actually has a point and makes sense and is put together really well.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Absurdism is almost always tied with comedy.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Kafka. But like, almost always.
Well, the counter to that is, if I can get this right, Synecdoche, New York. Charlie Kaufman. Yeah. Even adaptation, I would argue, is absurdist in a sense.
Yeah.
But Synecdoche, New York is extremely absurdist.
Being John Malkovich is pretty absurdist.
Yeah. Well, I would consider him an absurdist writer.
I would. Yeah.
But that's a movie that sort of takes, does the same thing. Does it where you have this absurdist storyline, but it actually comes together in a way that makes sense. I'm still not sure whether I liked it or not. It's been years, and I can't decide. But it's brilliant, but I'm not sure whether I liked it. It's a very unusual movie.
What's one of the bizarrest movies you've ever seen, Brian?
Well, I was going to bring up the scene in Being John Malkovich when he goes inside his own brain.
Oh, yeah, and he sees all
and everyone
Malkovich. Yeah.
Just that scene in itself is just...
I still don't know how they did that. It's like, whoa. Yeah, no, you're right. That's really... Well, the whole, when they crawl through and it's like mud.
It's mud, and then it almost seems like flesh after you get to a point in there.
It's bizarre. Yeah. Really bizarre.
But then there's the movies like Kung Fu Hustle that just kind of take them. Take the Kung Fu movies and just turn them to just a bit crazy.
Stephen Chow handles absurd. Have you seen Shaolin Soccer?
I don't think so. I may have.
There's a moment when a soccer game turns into a war movie.
Yeah.
There's a moment when they start dancing Thriller.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it.
It's beyond good. Yeah, you're right. Those are really bizarre moments. Yeah. Kung Fu Hustle, though. There's a moment at the end of Kung Fu Hustle when the main bad guy becomes a toad.
Oh, the toad, yeah.
A toad?
That was specifically the moment I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Although, if you're talking about one of the most shockingly, not necessarily absurd, but borderline moments in film, the end of Old Boy is a moment where I'm not really I know why everything happened, but I think something about my psyche refuses to accept it, and so I'm saying it's got to be absurd.
That movie will never. I'm sorry, Spike Lee, Steven Spielberg. That movie will never be remade in America.
No.
Because American audiences cannot accept stuff that Old Boy's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard for me to say it because I don't want to give too much away. But the way that it handles, like, incest, especially, and the amount of incest that is in that plot, America just won't touch it.
Yeah.
We won't have anything to do with it. Speaking of Old Boy, the scene where he eats a live octopus is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. It builds his character so well, but you're watching a man eat an actual octopus.
Yeah.
It's a live octopus.
And his tentacles are like grabbing onto his face.
Crawling onto his face.
Yeah.
Like, this is a creature that's clearly dying and fighting for its life. But he's a man who's just been released from prison and wants to kill something.
Yeah.
The other one, you're right, Terry Gilliam. I think, like, Brazil. Have you seen Brazil?
I have not.
I haven't seen Brazil.
Bizarre moments with, like, skin stretching. Honestly, I think Brothers Grimm is a highly underrated film.
Yes.
The strange moment, if you've seen it, there's a moment where a kitten gets chopped up.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen that part.
Which is strange. Like, I forget the actor's name, but for no reason, he just kind of kicks a kitten into a spinning saw. and the kitten goes like, it's the world's cutest kitten in the world. But the other the moment
he has a problem with cats? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. The moment where the little girl gets taken over by the gingerbread man, who's really made out of mud, and her face starts to melt, is one of the strangest things that I've ever seen.
Well, even, what was this recent movie that was a disaster?
Which you love.
Oh, Imaginary of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, Imaginary.
I don't mean the film was a disaster. I mean, like, the production was a disaster.
Yeah.
But that's Terry Gilliam. Like, his actual, like, process is absurdism. Like, just anything that can go wrong will go wrong for him. And I don't know. I mean,
what's your take on the Imaginary? Because it is. Would you call it absurdism? Like, it's pretty absurd and bizarre.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would almost use the term surreal.
Yeah. It has a very Dolly feel.
Yeah. But, I mean, what he had to do, because his lead actor dies, so he has to find a way to recast him.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way he did it was
pretty amazing.
Yeah. Like each time he goes into another one of these dream, soul, whatever things, it's a new person. It's no longer Heath Ledger. It's now
Johnny Depp, Jude Law,
or Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
And I think that was really, really a good idea, especially given the cards that he was dealt.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, it also lends to the sort of
the dream,
the surreality. I just invented it. But of the film. You know, have you seen the documentary on his attempt to make Don Quixote?
Wasn't trying to make it with Johnny Depp?
With Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And just literally, they got caught in a flood. Like, they were in a desert, and the desert flooded. It, like, only does this every 300 years. It's ridiculous. The man is just doomed when it comes to films. I wish
12 Monkeys has some bizarre scenes, too.
I wish I could remember the name, because I highly recommend the documentary as far as...
I think it's Man of La Mancha, something like Searching for Man of La Mancha?
Searching for Man
of La Mancha?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Maybe we'll put it up here on a flip down. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have. Well, let's sum up a little. Quentin Dupieux, I really want to watch his other movie, just for the sheer fact that I can't imagine them being, like, anything normal. Yeah. I love stuff that's, like, new and fresh, and even if I don't like it, I'm like, watch something that's never been done before. Okay, this is bizarre. He has another film called Non-Film about a guy who wakes up in the middle of a movie trying to realize what kind of a movie he's in. And so it's about a guy trying to figure out what movie, very adaption-esque, you know, you're writing the movie as it's happening. Rubber, to me, really is an amazing work of absurdism and metafiction. It's hilarious, it's funny. I would recommend it to people who love absurdism and metafiction. So, if you don't know what those words are, don't watch the movie. you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, that pretty much sounds like if you don't no absurdism, if you're not, if postmodernism means nothing to you,
or it pisses you off,
or it pisses you off,
yeah,
then this is not the film for you. It's I for some reason I have a hard time saying this is a good movie. I think it is, but for a very limited set of people.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Is that because it won't reach a large audience? Does that make it good? That's the question.
So I mean, it's a good movie if you like these kind of movies. Of course, you can say that about anything.
Exactly.
yeah.
It was. I stand by my previous tweet. I have no idea what I watched. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I cried. I'm making a bad movie. He wasn't drowning. He was just sitting on the bottom of the pool.
I think he was actually he actually drowned, and then pulling him out of the pool resuscitated him.
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
No reason.
I have any idea. Yeah.
Tires don't float. All right.
yeah. The whole argument. Tires don't float. We just saw one sink. They don't float. Yeah.
It has to have an inner tube to float.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I think I'm going to recommend it to whoever I feel because
such an experience.
You need to watch it.
Yeah.
So, I don't care if you don't know what absurdism or metafiction is. Watch the movie.
We've had a hard time telling people what is absurdism or what is metafiction. This film is it.
It's both.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, no, you're right, Brian. Yeah, you are. We're gonna move on to our flip chart segment.
All right, welcome back to Buried Cinema. We are now going to add rubber to our flick chart, and I'm going to get pie after this is over. Rubber or 310 to Yuma?
Oh.
Well, 310 to Yuma is in a genre that I love, and it's one of the better ones in the genre that I love.
Westerns.
I love Westerns. I love me some Christian Bale. I love me some
Russell Crowe.
And yeah.
Ben Foster.
As a
bad guy is awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. I think this is like in my top 50 on Flick Chart. So
Peter Fonda's in it.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, this is a highly underrated like Western because people don't put it like it's one of the best Westerns of all time.
Yeah,
and it is. I think it's an amazing film.
It's because people don't want to accept new Westerns into best Westerns of all time because they're so stuck with the Clint Eastwood, John Wayne Westerns that they don't want to accept. Like,
and there was that bad period of Westerns in the
70s and 80s.
The spaghetti Westerns?
And even the early 90s with like Maverick. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There's the really... I'm talking about after like the Clint Eastwood Westerns where they tried to make a couple of... I mean, there was like Maverick and the... What's the Will Smith?
Wild
West.
And there was like 5 or 6 really bad Westerns in a row. And so that like creates a cutoff point.
Western comedies are never good. Because it's a genre about American expansion and American exceptionalism. And when you're making fun of killing Indians, that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just near impossible. It's a serious idea, a serious genre that it can have comedic moments, but it cannot.
So Blazing Saddles isn't good to you.
Ah, crap. Yeah, no, Blazing Saddles.
Deflating.
No, you're right. Yeah, there goes my argument.
Yeah.
Unless you do Blazing Saddles.
Your issue,
why didn't we talk about Mel Brooks doing absurdism?
No kidding.
Your issue is...
Life of Brian? We should talk about that.
You can't really take the Like the killing Native American part and make that funny. That's not funny.
Yeah.
You can do the Western expansion, the corrupt government officials, that kind of thing, and make that funny. And it's just, you can't do that with the parts that are clearly just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we all picked the Uva.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. Rubber or Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Oh.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller. There's no... That's sort of in that classic realm of films, that untouchable films. It's just...
Not untouchable, but it's good.
Pretty damn near. I mean,
it's one of the best comedies ever made.
Yeah. Yes. It's one of the best comedies ever made. There's something to be said for... I mean, it's layered in a way that you can watch it just as a straight film, or as something that's taking place entirely inside the friend's mind. Cameron's mind. You can watch the film, and it works that way too. So you can watch it in two different ways, and it's
where Ferris Bueller is Cameron's imaginary friend.
Yeah, and it works.
I've
completely.
heard you say this. Yeah.
I have never watched it that way, but I might have to watch it that way the next time I see it.
I actually watched it that way recently because I've been wanting to for a long time, but I can never get anybody to do it with me. And so I watched it myself, and it works. It absolutely works flawlessly.
What do you think about Ferris Bueller?
I don't have a high opinion of it, to be perfectly honest.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of many of the 80s comedies.
No.
I just...
So you don't... So John Hughes isn't like the pinnacle of filmmaking for you?
Nope. Not at all.
He's not for me either, but he's decent.
I mean, there are movies that he has made that I really enjoy, but
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yes, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club in parts, yeah.
Pretty in Pink.
No. Even
16 Candles.
No, I was actually going to go Home Alone,
Yeah,
we had this discussion last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
or did we?
We did.
Did you cut it?
I got it.
We had this discussion last week. It's lost forever, but we had it.
Yeah. we have like 10 discussions on movies, and I choose 3 of them. So the majority of the crap that we talk about gets cut. So every time we say, we talk about this movie all the time, we're like, yeah, but they don't watch it.
We've said this before.
Yeah.
But you don't know that.
Yeah. Like,
this one's getting cut. But yeah, I mean, I really, I'm not I can't really say much about Ferris Bueller's Day Off other than I'm just wholly unimpressed by it.
Mm.
Wow, that's amazing. It's one of the, like...
So where would you go, Rubber?
I would go Rubber.
Huh. What about you?
Oh, Ferris Bueller. No,
Okay.
I feel the same way that you do. Yeah, no, I think it's funny.
It's
has
a
a lot.
coming-of-age film that...
It is.
Like, all happens in one day.
It's a good high school film. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good one-day film. I mean, the main thing for me is I do laugh at it a lot.
Yeah.
And it still holds up. And for me, a comedy that makes me laugh. I laugh a lot at Rubber as well. But Ferris Bueller does have that classic status. And classic status just gives some movies like a notch up. Rubber hasn't made it there yet.
There's lines in Ferris Bueller that I enjoy.
Right. Okay.
But I mean, it's just, as a whole, I'm not a fan. So I'm going to lose, and I'm going to lose with dignity.
It's a classic. Steve used
the moral high ground.
Steve used to do these Rampart articles, classics I can live without.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a classic you can live without.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you don't consider it that.
Yep. Rubber or The Insider?
The Insider is like an important film that is very well made. That
Russell Crowe's first Academy Award nomination.
Yeah, the performances are amazing, but for some reason it's kind of forgettable. Like when anybody mentions it, I'm like, oh yeah,
the tobacco industry has been taken down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, they have lost.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's kind of like been disappeared in the in the whole swarm of movies past. It's kind of just in there. And it's not one I ever think about. It's not one when we have a movie night that I'm like, oh, I'm going to pull out The Insider.
Honestly, it's there with like Philadelphia. One of those films that's like, if you actually sit down and watch it, you're like, wow. But it's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
The performances are amazing. The subject matter is amazing. But we have moved to a point socially in history where it's the points that it's been trying to make are controversial, and society has accepted those points, right? In the sense of Philadelphia, homosexuality and AIDS, are not inherently linked, and we don't hate homosexuals. In Philadelphia, a lot for that. The point of the Insider of a man standing up, a single worker standing up against the cigarette industry, and the realms of that, and advertising and how that's worked with, are now things that we've moved past.
I also think that, like Philadelphia and this, they also sort of make the point that great performances and important films do not necessarily make classic films. There has to be something more than just a great performance by an actor, a great screenplay. A well-written screenplay.
Nobody remembers The Last King of Scotland.
Yeah, I mean...
Forrest Whitaker won Best Actor for it, people.
Yeah, and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I, demand that everybody see.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim...
I don't demand everyone see it because it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I mean, Scott Pilgrim doesn't have the best screenplay in the world. It doesn't have the best performances in the world. But it's one that I really want people to see.
But you also experienced recently that people don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making, that classic status doesn't depend on how well a film is made. And
so are we going Rubber?
I think I would go Rubber.
This is really, really tough for me.
I think I would go Rubber.
I'm hoping that you just make it easy.
Okay, I'll make it easy for you. I'll go Rubber.
You don't have to.
No,
would you honestly go Rubber?
I would go Rubber because, personally, this comes down to what would I rather watch, and I think I'd rather watch. I think I'd have more fun watching Rubber.
I would rather watch Rubber. Yeah, no, I'll go.
I think
Rubber.
I'd get more out of a second viewing of Rubber.
Yeah. Pacino and Crow in a film is amazing.
Yeah, it's
because this was like Russell Crowe's film, where it was like, wow, this guy is an actor in Hollywood. And Pacino was he's Al Pacino, whereas, so he was bringing this young guy along.
I feel this is how I feel about this film is how I feel about that won the Oscar last year.
King's Speech.
It's a movie. It's a wonderful movie that's made so well made, and the characters are great. The performances are great. 5 years from now, I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to think about it.
You're kind of right, yeah.
I'm going to think about Toy Story 3 and Inception and all the movies that were sort of shoehorned in that should have probably won and didn't. Black Swan.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You're right.
I'll stop preaching.
I'll go Rubber as well, actually.
Oh, really?
We'll go unanimous, yeah. I mean, you guys have convinced me.
Yeah.
And Rubber ends up at 332 on our flick chart.
How could Rubber be lower than Cowboys and Aliens?
I don't know, because I wasn't freaking here to fight you guys off.
That was ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Cowboys and Aliens is not good.
You want to know why?
It's fun.
It was up against different movies.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Rubber came up against a lot of tough movies.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Yeah.
I kind of wish I didn't pick Avatar now.
We can go back. Redo it.
We can do some randoms if you want to.
We'll
let's do a couple randoms.
Yeah.
She's All That or Fantastic Four?
So,
bad or worse? Let's go.
Make sure that's okay. So
that's a Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes.
And Throwaway Girl, who did one movie and disappeared.
Yeah, I remember watching that and actually enjoying it. Like the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, I turned it off. I was drunk when I watched that, and I still turned it off. I was still like, this is stupid. So,
it's a pretty dumb movie.
Fantastic Four is bad.
It's the bottom of... one of our viewers was asking us, what is our favorite... I can't remember your name. I'm sorry, man. I've been drinking. It's like God Max with a bunch of X's.
Oh, yeah.
You're awesome. But, like, Fantastic Four, you were asking us what our favorite comic books movie? It's not Fantastic Four. It is at the bottom. The
so
example
bad.
of
It is even worse than Ang Lee's Hulk.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
There are redeeming qualities to Ang Lee's Hulk. I frequently fight for
a meditative superhero. That's something you get to see very much.
No,
but,
it's not. Yeah.
But Fantastic Four is like...
It's worse than its sequel. Is it?
Maybe.
No,
that's a tough decision.
I mean, it's not... It doesn't quite stoop to the Batman and Robin level. But it's pretty damn close.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main thing that redeems it is the Things storyline.
Yeah.
The aspect of him, like his superpower is a curse. You know, he loses his wife, and it's actually a really heartbreaking scene when he's trying to grab that ring and his fingers are too big.
Yeah, that is... they could have done so much more with that.
Right. And the rest of them, it doesn't... This was one of the movies that made me doubt Chris Evans, and Captain America has brought him back and showed me, no, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
You know, but this movie, he's playing his Scott Pilgrim character.
Yeah.
You know.
The cocky...
Yeah.
You know, which that's... I remember... I'm going to shout out to another podcast, Sound on Sight. A very good audio podcast. They don't do video because they're not as cool as us. Sorry, mosquito.
For those of you watching it.
So that's what, like, I was worried about Captain America, is that he would play that, which he almost always does, play that cocky...
Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, character that is the same as
Johnny
Iron
Storm.
Man.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Which is even lower than Fantastic Four.
Yes. But it's the same. Iron Man's a cocky character. Thor's a cocky character. I'm assuming Hawkeye is going to be a cocky character because that's who he actually is.
I got that impression.
But that's a classic Greek Pride Before the Fall heroes.
Yeah, granted, but if you had Chris Evans playing that same cocky character that he always plays, then you'd have the Avengers, which is a group full of cocky guys.
Right.
And Mark Ruffalo.
And Mark Ruffalo. So
who doesn't want to be, but adding Captain America. Right.
Him being able to pull that off gives me hope.
Mm-hmm. But then, She's All That is basically, at the end of the day, a decent romantic comedy. Yeah. Which sometimes we bash romantic comedies, but that's a good thing.
But it's it is also your typical late 90s romantic comedy.
It is,
but it was one of the first of those typical late 90s Freddie Prinze Jr. romantic comedies. I mean...
I think this is his romantic comedy. This is the one he'll be remembered for.
Yeah.
Because buddy, you're not doing anything else. You're basically doing voice work for like animation at this point.
And Scooby-Doo, right?
And Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So I mean, this is... I would go with She's All That because... I literally could not get through Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I watched it, I enjoyed it. It's not a movie I'll ever watch again in my entire life or recommend to anybody.
Unless I'm with a pretty girl and I get to make out with her at the end. But
at the end or during?
Either.
Anyway.
You're married. Ha!
No, I could think of plenty better movies that would... Yeah. Anyways.
There are a lot better... romantic comedies.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's like this is a watchable romantic comedy.
Yes.
Fantastic Four is not a watchable comic book movie.
No, it's
so
not.
Inside their genres, which are not amazing genres, which one's better?
Yeah.
She's All That.
Yeah. All right. That'll end our Flick Chart segment. We just had a 2.5 hour Flick Chart segment.
So, next week we are going to see Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is the prequel to Planet of the Apes, directed by Rupert Wyatt. This is his first wide-release film, I believe. I don't recognize any of the other films he's done. James Franco, who was nominated for an Oscar last year, and I believe should have won. if he had one, I wouldn't have had to do that stupid Justin Bieber thing. So he should have one. Also has Andy Serkis who's unfortunately been typecast as a computer animated character.
John the CGI motion capture actor.
Yes.
In the same sense that I think his name is Tom Jones has been cast as he did like Pan's Labyrinth. He was the Silver Surfer.
Oh
yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy who does very physical makeup work.
Yeah. Also John Lithgow, who is amazing. I love John Lithgow. His last stint in Dexter was awesome. And Frida Pinto, who was in Slumdog Millionaire, but is also a big Bollywood actress who's sort of making her way into Hollywood.
She's pretty.
So Nate, I know we've had long discussions about this film. How do you feel about it?
I'm more excited for it now after seeing subsequent trailers. It feels like it will have more substance to it than Mark Wahlberg and Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes has really hurt the entire series.
Yeah.
From what Rod Sterling is really important to those of us in Binghamton, and his ability to tell a story with social significance.
Yeah. He's from Binghamton.
He's from Binghamton. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes seems to have that. From some trailers that I've seen, there's the only nagging thing that bothers me is a bunch of apes attacking San Francisco should be able to be fixed by 3 machine guns.
Yeah.
The SWAT team should be able to handle this. So I'm curious.
PETA won't let him.
PETA won't let him. I'm curious what they're going to do with that aspect. If they're just going to ignore it. But I think James Franco is amazing. Frida Pinto is beautiful and a great actress.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the cast looks very good. And Andy Serkis is the best motion capture actor. The fact that
he's a great actor. Period.
He's a great actor. Yeah. Period. The end. Yeah. Should have won an Oscar for Gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm somewhat excited for it. I'm gonna watch it.
I am not excited for it. I feel like it's going to be preachy action. And then I feel like it's going to just bore me for about an hour. And then I'm just going to get action for another 45 minutes. And that's my opinion.
Robert?
Good point. So, I'm a huge fan of Planet of the Apes, the original Charlton Heston, like over the top Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. My father made me watch it again and again and again as a child. It was just something that I loved, and not much a fan of the sequels, but the original Planet of the Apes I loved. And when I heard that they were doing a prequel that explained the fall of humanity, I was so excited that I think I personally willed it to be good. And I think it's going to be.
It's you who have made it good.
Yes, yeah. I personally have made this into a good film. If it's good, if it's not my fault.
It's my fault.
It's Brian. Yes. So I really want this to be good. This is sort of like my childhood depends on this movie. Mm-hmm. So just like it did with Last Airbender, and it was crushed. So
luckily, it wasn't your actual childhood. It was only your man childhood.
Yeah, it was and my children's childhood. My children's childhood has been destroyed by Shyamalan. But I really want this to be good. I think it looks really good, and I'm ridiculously excited to see this. So, well, that's all for this week of Buried Cinema. You can check us out on the web, buriedcinema.com. You can also email us, buriedcinema@gmail.com, or follow us on Twitter @buriedcinema. Brian, you want to tell us about Facebook?
We update Facebook every weekday. We get the rant pad out on the days it comes out, and Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays is what it seems like now. Yes, and then minisodes come out, and the actual podcast comes out on Tuesdays. So, also, you can just email us at buriedcinema@gmail.com for buried ideas for buried movies.
So, as Brian mentioned, we're also on the Rant Pad. We post 3 times a week. Nate is doing adaptations and looking at bugs in his drink.
There's a friggin' fruit fly in my rum.
Yeah, that's
you jerk.
Drink it. It's
a party foul. So I am doing post-apocalyptic films, which Rise of the Planet of the Apes kind of goes right along that. And Tom is going to be moving on to sort of nostalgia films that from his childhood that he loved and reveres, as opposed to films from my childhood that I tear apart.
Next week, I'm telling people about why Clueless, which we talked about a lot, is such a bad movie.
Well, Nate's wrong. We'll just get that out there. But
it's horrible.
So yeah, join us next week for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where we talk and drink and do stuff.
Annie Laura is going to join us.
Yes, we have a very special guest next week. So
see Robert Sucka.
She's going to blow your head off.